Okay, let's plant some potatoes, y'all. Taters. I got 4 varieties of organic certified seed potatoes. I'm gonna do the all blue, the Lorette fingerling, the golden butterball. So delicious. And last but not least, the Caribe. Welcome back to New Garden Road, where I share my love of gardening with you in a way that I hope will inform, inspire, and elevate you. Alright, so I like to plant whole potatoes on the smaller size. That way I don't have to cut them up and dust them with the dusting wettable sulfur. However, I did want to show you an example of that, and because some of the seed potatoes that I got were pretty large in size, I will be cutting them in half or in thirds and dusting them with the dustable wettable sulfur, which helps to prevent fungal growth, which leads to them rotting prematurely before the plants get a chance to get going. What I'm trying to do today is I'm trying to establish a 4x8 raised bed, and I'm going to plant potatoes. Alright, so I don't know if any of you have watched the video where I transplanted my asparagus, but this is one of the beds that is left, and I've taken all the soil and I've raked it up into a kind of a pyramid structure, mapped out about where the raised bed frame, the new one, is going to be placed. And now I think I'm going to get out my tiller. But you can take a digging fork and do the same thing in an area and loosen the soil. You can see an example of me doing that ahead of tilling. I've done that to loosen it up so the tiller will be able to work more easily. You can add some compost on top of that. In time, that's going to get down there. That's going to change the subsoil structure. That would be a good thing to do if you don't have a tiller, but you still wanted to take some time and create additional depth-free raised bed garden. Then I'll get the frame in place. I'll start working the soil to level it out. Probably gonna add some more compost at that point. I'm going to be adding some more compost. Then I'm going to be adding some organic fertilizer, one high in nitrogen. The one that I'm using currently is rated 824 for the NPK. Guess what I'm gonna do next? I'm gonna make some cool little furrows for my potatoes, my little potato babies. I'm gonna put those in those furrows at 1 each per square foot. I didn't plant one of the varieties of potatoes. It's the one that I cut up and coated with the dusting wettable sulfur. You wanna give that about 1 to 2 days to dry up and to callus over a little bit. That's going to help maximize the effectiveness of the sulfur that you're adding there. Give them that about a day to heal up, and then I'm going to plant those just like I planted the rest. Then I'm going to cover them with about 3 to 4 inches of soil. We're expecting potentially some heavy rain this evening, and I don't really want the soil where the potatoes are planted to get overly saturated, because I'm gonna employ some of these garden hoops. I'm gonna take some 12-inch rebar, drive those into the soil about 6 inches. I'm spacing those 2 feet apart on both sides, both long sides of the bed. And then I'm gonna take some 10-foot PVC and I'm gonna arc that over the bed from one rebar to the next. And then I'm gonna take some 6mm plastic that's 10 feet long, and I'm going to place the plastic on the garden hoops, secure with some clips, and that should keep the rain from getting to the soil by and large. This is a great technique you can utilize when you're trying to get things to dry and cure a little bit in the bed, things like onions, potatoes, even when they're ready to harvest, sweet potatoes, any kind of root crops that you want to dry out a little bit prior to harvesting them, and you might be expecting some heavy rains, some seasonal rains. You can use this technique to cover it up, keep the rain from getting in there. Yo, that is a wrap, my friends. I have been waiting far too long to plant these potatoes, get these potatoes in the ground. You know what I'm saying? I was late, but that's okay. I will be triumphant. I know there will be some potatoes in the ground when I come to dig them up later in May. That's how it goes here in Austin, Texas. You never know. Take your chances. Fingers crossed. Wish me luck. It's gonna be good, y'all. I love me some homegrown potatoes. One of the most fulfilling things to plant. You can do this. You just need to cultivate your soil. You gotta put some compost and some fertilizer in there. You gotta get those potatoes planted, and then once they sprout about 5 or 6 inches, you wanna dirt those guys up. Leave the top few leaves. When they grow past that, another 5 to 6 inches, you're gonna dirt them up again. In the end, you want to have a good 6 inches of soil. That's where the primary growing zone of these potatoes will be. The potatoes are actually an enlarged part of the stem of the plant that's going to grow underground. You'll see those eyes coming out of the potatoes. That's actually going to start to grow and make a big stem, and then from there it's going to shoot out, right? And that's where the little spuds are going to grow on them potatoes right there on them stems. So you want to feed them lots of nitrogen so you get better potato tube growth on the stems. Try one more time. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got some tips, and I hope you're going to plant some potatoes. Leave me a question or comment below, and if you like what you see and you want to see more of it, you know what to do, right? You better hit that subscribe button. Come back for some more New Garden Road. Happy gardening, y'all.